It's so easy to get caught up in a child's grades, right? Their performance at school. But when we do that, we often miss what's really happening just beneath the surface. So in this explainer, we're going to shift our focus from the symptom to the system. This quote just hits the nail on the head. If the only thing we're looking at is the report card, we're basically just reading the error message on a computer screen without ever bothering to check the hardware. We are totally missing the real story. And that's because at the end of the day, a child isn't just a collection of test scores or achievements. They're a really complex, interconnected system. And just like any system, sometimes it can break down. And this brings us to a really common trap, one we can call the wrong diagnosis. It's all about how we tend to react, almost instinctively, when we see those first signs of trouble. And just look at the disconnect here. It's kind of wild when you see it laid out like this. We see a child who is clearly exhausted, and what's our first instinct? We might scold them for being lazy. We see a bad grade, and we immediately pile on more pressure, more tutoring, more demands. We're trying to fix the symptom, not the actual cause. So we have to completely reframe this problem. That fatigue, that bad grade, that lack of focus, it's not some kind of personal failure on their part. Think of it more like an indicator light on your car's dashboard. It's a warning sign that the underlying system is struggling.
Okay, so what exactly is this system we keep talking about? Let's dive in and take a look at the components inside that might be breaking down.
Think of it like this. The brain's ability to process things, their memory, their attention span, and their emotional state, they're all like cogs in the same machine. And if just one of those cogs gets jammed, the whole machine starts to sputter and slow down. They're all connected. So, first up, you can have an overloaded brain. Just too much information, too much pressure, and not nearly enough time to process any of it. It's literally like having way too many tabs open on your computer. Everything just slows down to a crawl. And what happens when your computer is overloaded? Well, things stop saving properly. That's exactly what happens here. A disconnected memory. Information might go in, but it doesn't get stored correctly. The pathways just aren't firing, which makes it pretty much impossible to recall facts for a test. Then you get shattered attention. It makes sense, right? When the brain is overloaded and the memory is failing, the ability to focus on any one thing for very long it breaks down. Attention gets fragmented, jumping all over the place. And finally, all of this comes together to create these obstructive emotions. Feelings like anxiety, frustration, a sense of failure. They start to build up and create this emotional wall that makes it even harder for the brain to learn and function. It's a really vicious cycle. So what's the big deal? What happens if we don't address this broken system? Well, the consequences can be pretty serious, and they can last for a long, long time. This is not something that just fixes itself.
This timeline is, it's chilling, honestly. Think about it. After about a year of struggling without the right kind of support, a child might just give up on asking for help. After 2 years, they start to withdraw and shut down emotionally. And then, by the 3rd year, this external struggle becomes an internal belief. Something is wrong with me.
Okay, but here's the good news. It absolutely does not have to go down this path. This brings us to the solution, a system reboot. And this is all about forgetting the idea of motivation for a minute, and instead focusing on building a completely new foundation.
And you can see the difference right here. The old approach is all about trying to motivate by using pressure or scolding. But the reboot approach? It's about restoring, reconnecting, and supporting. It's a fundamental change in how we approach the whole situation.
And notice that the goals here are all about the inside, not the outside. Step 1, get those core functions back online: attention, memory, thinking. Step 2, help them build the emotional resilience to handle setbacks. And step 3, create a foundation of support that actually lasts long after the test is over.
And when you do this, when that internal system gets rebooted and starts running smoothly again, the change is just incredible. A child doesn't just get better grades. They come alive. They actually start to re-engage with the world, with their own thoughts, and with their own life. And really, that's the whole point, isn't it? The goal of this whole thing isn't a perfect report card. It's about helping a child become themselves again, a capable, confident person who knows how to cope with whatever life decides to throw at them.
So, I'll just leave you with this question to think about. What if we stopped trying to fix the grades and started focusing on fixing the system? Just imagine what could change for the kids in our lives if we did that.